But we're going to move on, and we're talking about USC football. And for a second, you may be, Ricky, why? This team sucks. Well, the reason
we are
why...
also agreeing with you. Yes, this team does suck.
The reason why we're talking about it, we're not talking about it because, we're trying to tell Rams fans that, hey, there is a pro football team that plays in Southern Cal, and their name is the Trojans. But it's about comments, and there's an article on ESPN that blankly says, Clay Helton's USC mission, no more Hollywood. And you may ask, well, Ricky, what does that mean? Offensive tackle Zach Banner came out and said some things about what he thinks is the problem. The best way that it was described in the article is it was a filibuster-like rant at a reporter who didn't even ask what the problem was with USC. He just felt like he had something to say. And Brandon, the main quote from this that I love is when Banner says, and I quote, I think the issue is in the past that we have had in between Coach Carroll and Coach Helton, everything in between, every single coach, every single player, because the coach allowed it, everyone wanted to be Hollywood. Everyone saw the type of star power Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart had when they were winning games, video game covers, Heisman trophies, commercials. Some people came to SC just to be a part of that power, end quote.
And what I would say to anyone who is coming to USC right now, who is going to USC, do not compare yourselves and try and be the star power of Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. Because guess where their careers are? Over. Yeah, they may have made it on a couple of covers.
But they were kings of the mountaintops when it came to college football.
They were kings of the mountaintop when it came to college football, yes. But here's the thing, is that is rare. That is rare when you have a guy, they were put in the stardom. They were put on the pedestal, and they were put there. And I think a big part of it was because it was California.
Well, it's L.A.
It was Hollywood.
It's L.A.
But here's the thing, is that you can even go over to, let's say, Alabama, a team that wins all the damn time. Derrick Henry is not even put up on that big of a pedestal.
Well, no, because the way Nick Saban runs his team is it's the team and nobody's above the team.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to say.
I was going to say the same thing. That's what I was thinking in my head.
You look at all different programs. You look at Iowa. You look at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. You look at Michigan. Now Michigan. There is no one.
I thought you were talking about the Brady Hoke Michigan teams. Those are the teams we want to talk about, right?
There is no one above the team. There's no one above the team. There is no one that's placed on that high of a pedestal. Mm-hmm. I don't know of anyone outside of Mark Sanchez getting on a GQ cover and doing photo shoots while they're a college athlete, but for GQ. They're on, covers of ESPN, the magazine and stuff like that, but it's very weird that Matt Leinart was part of that. Matt Leinart's actually a tool bag, by the way. If anyone didn't already know he's kind of a loser.
You hate Matt Leinart.
Well, because he is a loser. He's gonna yell at people because he didn't do well in the NFL, and he's gonna well, you didn't give me the opportunity. You suck, dude. What else can we do? We cannot help put the ball in your hand and then walk it to the receiver. My gosh, he's so horrible. Anyways, getting back to it, you can't have anyone who's better than the team, because then you lose the team aspect of it, and it becomes me. How do I get there? How do I do well? No, because if you're doing well, that's great. But if the team's not doing well, if the team loses, but you're happy that your stats were good, so you'll look good to everybody, that is bad. That is a bad team player, because you're not a team player.
Well, and it seems like, to me, reading this article, based on what banner is actually coming out of his mouth, it seems like Coach Helton is putting together the kind of structure that you need. Because the one thing that Banner mentions is he mentioned, it starts from the top. It starts from the coach. You have to have that foundation. And the exact quote is, that's why everybody is so solid with Coach Helton. Everyone realizes you have to have a solid foundation in terms of a head coach. And another one I'm going to bring out that you didn't really mention, and it's interesting because this coach that I'm about to mention has he's done well with two teams, but has possibly had one of the most famous college quarterbacks that didn't do anything that like Matt Leinart or Mark Sanchez did, and that's Urban Meyer. Was able to do it at Florida. That's where he had Tim Tebow. Everyone loved Tim Tebow. The difference is Tim Tebow wasn't that Hollywood kind of player. He was humble. He was, the glory of God, and he mentioned God in every interview. And then Urban Meyer wins, does okay, it's all about the team here. Then he goes to Ohio State and does the same thing. Nobody's above the team. Look at their quarterbacks for Ohio State. Broxton Miller comes in. You're the quarterback. No, you're not. Here's Cardell. Cardell comes in. No, you're not. Here's JT. JT, you're out. Cardell's back in. Urban Meyer didn't care. He just wanted the best player on the field. And I think that's what USC is getting at. Helton has looked at Ohio State, who has won a national championship recently. Alabama, who's won a plethora of trophies over the past few years with Nick Saban. It all starts with this team. It all starts with just, doing your job, winning games. And to me, you can't, even if you are that one player that's like, man, if we still I want to be famous. Well, guess what? You're not going to be known if you don't win football games. You can't put the cart ahead of the horse.
And I guess you take a look at it. What's interesting is that with USC, of what I can remember, it was the people like Reggie Bush, Leinart, Sanchez, all those guys. But you take a look at Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley wasn't even as highly regarded as some of those guys were. I mean, it was like those three that were just the almighty gods. No one else that I can remember was like that. Not at USC, not really at any program. Not that I can remember.
Well, I mean, I think what it was after Pete Carroll, you had the Lane Kiffin era.
Which was a good era.
Which
really
was
good.
Not a good era. And then that 2013 season, which I feel like USC should have made this move to make Helton the head coach at the end of the 2013 season. And the reason why I say that is in 2013, USC had three different head coaches, technically. They had Lane Kiffin, they had Ed Orgeron, and then they had Clay Helton. Should have just made Helton the coach right there. You would have set this whole movement back 2 years, and now it'd be like we're talking about this in the year 2018. What we're going to be saying then, if it worked or if it didn't, because let's be honest, the Sarkisian era didn't work. And I just feel like with the Trojans, it was great at the time when Pete Carroll was there because, of course, everything's going to be Hollywood. You're in LA and you're winning. That puts you at kings of the mountaintop, especially during that era when you didn't have a pro football team in the area to challenge you. You were the team that if you liked football in LA, unless you were from way back in the past when the Rams and Raiders were in LA, you were a Trojan fan. That's who you rooted for when it came to football, because you didn't really have a pro team, because LA didn't have a pro football team. And I think that we lost a little bit of the Hollywood as the years went on. But I am not going to knock that there were players that went to USC because they saw that and said, I want that. I want to be Hollywood. I want to go there. I want to live the life of LA. I want to have the big sunglasses. And
I want to have all the hot girls, and man, you can't knock them for that.
It even goes back to, what issue was it? It was one of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues when they had the DVD when, I think it was Jimmy Buffett or whoever was the singer singing the songs, and they had the USC band for one of the photo shoots, and they asked one of the kids in the documentary, why do you guys wear sunglasses? And the kid goes, it's because our future's so bright. That's just how LA is. That's how it is. It's this, like, I'm not going to say arrogant, but this, like, cocky, living the high life, famous life, all the celebrities are out there. And, of course, when you're the best football team in town, you're going to get some of that recognition, some of that celebrity to you.
Absolutely. I do not disagree with you at all. I think that's exactly what it is. But I think that the ship that Helton is trying to run right now, and he is running, is definitely going to help make this a better football program.
And I mean, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, they weren't the only ones that were the head of the mountaintop. I mean, you had Carson Palmer before Matt Leinart. You had Ray Malaluga, Troy Polamalu. I'm trying to think of the one, Marquise Lee, the hotshot wide receiver coming out, then goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a prime example of the draft. Hotshot wide receiver for the Trojans. He's going to be great coming to the NFL, and then doesn't pan out like we want him to. Matt Barkley, another one.
Yeah, that Marquise Lee, I'll tell you what, being the 5th wide receiver on the Jaguars, that is a high honor.
Top 10 pick, right, Marquise Lee? He was a top 10 pick, I believe. Brandon's looking at me like, Ricky, I don't know.
I don't know. I barely know who he is now.
You're asking the wrong guy. No, he was supposed to be. He was a second rounder.
See?
Second rounder.
See? He's
39th overall.
Don't worry, he'll be the number 1 pick. 15th.
But that is it for our USC talk. Let us know down below. Just like the first segment, let us know down below what you guys think. Is USC going to be good by taking the Hollywood out of their team? Will they be back at the top of the Pac-12? Maybe a college football playoff team.